Football is back for the 25-26 season, and with it comes a slew of new football shirts. Yes, I love seeing what clubs release every year, so it's time for the annual O2GT home shirt ranking, the upcoming, or the already ongoing 25-26 Premier League season. Much like my Premier League predictions, go give that a watch if you haven't already. We'll start from the bottom with the worst shirt from the season and work our way up to the best of the best. So let's get started. So bottom of the league and second bottom in the actual league, we've got West Ham United. This, much like their performance against Sunderland, is crap. This is Umbro's last shirt for West Ham, and it's going down with quite a whimper, really. Let's just, get the elephant out of the room first. That sponsor is awful. They somehow found a worse sponsor than Betway. I don't know how they did it, but they managed it. And, West Ham are traditionally claret and blue. So where's the blue? It just doesn't look right, in my opinion. The body of the shirt is also very plain, and it just really makes you hone in on that awful sponsor. They didn't even colour match it. What's going on here? Yeah, I really dislike this shirt. But there's light at the end of the tunnel for West Ham. They are moving to New Balance next season. They did a banger away shirt for Atalanta, so hopefully they'll get some better shirts next year. But this one is terrible. The worst in the league, in terms of home shirts at least. It's not looking good, Brev. And then in 19th place, I've got Tottenham Hotspur. It's another year and another Tottenham stinker. This just looks like a training top, quite frankly. And upon seeing that, I just can't see anything else. I'm not really a fan of the sleeves being white, despite the navy aspects across the shoulders of the shirt. It just looks a bit weird to me. And I feel like it really emphasizes that sort of training shirt vibe. And the added light grey doesn't really make any sense either. Not sure why that's there, to be honest. Probably to add some extra little bit of design to the shirt, but it just looks pointless, really. And don't get me started on the sponsor. AIA. What the fuck are you doing? Why is it not navy? I've said it before, I'll say it again. It should be navy on the Spurs home shirt. They're fine with changing it on the other shirts. The home shirt, it's always red, but the other ones can be whatever colour they like. So it's not about brand recognition, because the brand recognition doesn't rely on the red colour. Or you wouldn't be changing it on the other shirts either. So just do the right thing and make it navy next season, and it would look better, really. But we know that'll never happen. I am a fan of the centralised crest and Nike tick, but that doesn't save the shirt. Although, strangely, Nike have put the tick in the centre for this shirt, where many of the other centralised club logos have the tick off to one side for some reason. It looks really weird, but I'm glad they've done it here. That's a slight bonus, I guess. Still just don't like the shirt though. It's really just boring, disappointing, meh, really. And in 18th place, I've got Manchester City. Puma are back at it again with another bad looking shirt for the citizens. It brings back the classic City sash, but for the first time ever on a home shirt. But Puma couldn't just do a basic sash though, could they? No, they had to add some more design elements to this sash, which I think ultimately detracts from the overall shirt design. I mean, if you look at their shirts from the Club World Cup, they had a sash there as well. Yes, it was a little bit wavy, but I feel it looks a lot better than whatever the sash they've had to do here. Thoughts? I don't really like it. I'm not gonna lie. Also, the rest of the shirt is very plain and just doesn't really have anything going on. Yes, it's a cohesive shirt design, but the sash just doesn't do it for me. Really not a fan. And in 17th place, we've got Manchester United. Yes, the two Manchester boys right next to one another, as the other Manchester team follows their rivals with just a slightly better effort from Adidas. But only slightly. Again, it's another largely plain shirt for United, but this time the shirt includes a unique sleeve print that is supposedly inspired by Old Trafford. This is also furthered by the Theatre of Dreams tag, which can be found on the back collar, which I do really like. But what I want to know how has Old Trafford, inspired that sleeve pattern? I don't really see it. I'm not sure if there's, an explanation for that. But it still looks decent enough without it really making too much sense, so I can give them a pass there. Yeah, like I say, the rest of the shirt is very plain though, and that collar, man. What is going on there? I really do not rate that. It's an okay shirt, nothing special, as most United shirts have been recently. Meh, quite frankly. And then in 16th place, I've got Burnley. For some reason, it seems that Burnley and West Ham are copying each other once again. They've both opted for more claret and less blue on both of their shirts this year. Burnley's does look better though. Not by much, but it still looks better. The main design feature across this shirt is the topographical graph of Lancashire, including the Pendle Hill. That's nice. I like it when a design links back to the place this team plays. But, and I'm sure you can see it, that sponsor is really not it. It's just so big for no real reason. Like, what's going on? They did attempt to colour match it somewhat, but it's still not great at all. And also the shirt just looks quite cheap in general. However, that could easily be just Castor and their build quality, because that ain't great either. It's decent enough to get 16th. It's not been relegated, so I guess there's that. Unlike Burnley in real life, I imagine. And then in 15th place, I've got Brighton, our second Nike entry, and for a manufacturer that only outfits 3 teams in this league, that ain't good going. Now, on the base of things, this is just an okay Brighton shirt, really. But I just cannot get over that fucking collar. It's one of Nike's asymmetric collars, and I just hate it. Look at it, man. It just looks so wonky, and makes the rest of the shirt look wonky as well. I really don't know what Nike thought they were cooking with that collar. We've seen it on a few shirts, and it never looks good. It never gets executed well, because it's a bad collar design in general. It's just not it, man. I do like the blue sponsor bar across the body of the shirt, which alternates the stripes as they pass through it, go from blue to white. I can't really explain it, but you can see what I mean on screen. And the badge, for some reason, looks a little bit darker than the rest of the blue on the shirt. Maybe it's the lighting, not sure what's up with that, but surely they should be the same colour, right? You'd have thought so at the very least. Just an okay shirt, really. The stripes are nice, I guess. And then in 14th place, I've got Liverpool. Liverpool have finally left Nike as they signed a deal with Adidas, and they dropped this effort. Yes, it is just a plain red shirt, and I'm going against a lot of what I stand for with shirt design, but it does look very nice, despite just being a plain red shirt. The white piping looks very, very nice on the red body, and all in all, it's just a very clean shirt, and a great first shirt from Adidas to wipe the slate clean from whatever Nike were doing. Solid stuff, a good template, a good baseline to build on next season. It's just a decent Liverpool shirt, really. Nothing much more to say. And then in 13th place, I've got Leeds. Leeds are back in the Premier League, the second of our newly promoted sides, and they've been given this effort from Adidas. Now, yes, on the face of things, it is just a plain white shirt with a bit of blue detailing. But the real design and the thing that really elevates this shirt is that collar and cuff detailing. My god. This multicolour design is inspired by the Lowfields Tunnel at Elland Road, and I think it looks very nice. It works really well with the rest of the shirt. It's not too flashy, doesn't overpower any other elements of the shirt, it just works wonderfully. This design is also finalised by a back collar that says "We Are Leeds" with a scarf, a tag that looks really nice. The Red Bull sponsor also works quite well here and is leagues better than any betting sponsor they could have had, even though you could argue, any drinks are unhealthy, but I think gambling is much more unhealthy than a Red Bull, so they get a pass from me. I would like to have seen the piping coloured either blue or yellow, one of the Leeds colours, but other than that, it's just a very solid looking shirt. Yeah, decent effort, man. It's going to take a lot to surpass their away shirt from last season, but this is quite nice nonetheless. And then in 12th place, I've got Brentford. Brentford have ditched Umbro for Joma, and this is their first effort for the London club. And is also Joma's first appearance in the Premier League since the 21-22 season, when they outfitted Norwich and gave them this shirt. Now, when I first saw this Brentford kit, I was really not a fan. I thought it looked awful. But since then, it has grown on me. Now, the cuffs and the collar are very strange. I can't say that I'm a fan of them personally. I think the collar is probably the better aspect of the two. But I think all in all, this shirt looks very solid. The thick red stripes are flanked by thinner red stripes, which creates a very clean and modern look. And for a kit celebrating 100 years of the red and white, it's a good look. I think it's a design from the 1920s that this shirt is referencing, which is why the collar looks the way it does. And I think in that regard, it actually looks pretty decent. The authentic version of this kit also has this sort of like wave-like pattern in the fabric, which I think is really nice as well. Very solid shirt. Sponsor ain't great, but the rest of the shirt is nice, so I'm giving you a pass there. And in 11th place, just missing out on mid-table, it's Everton. Say what you like about Castor, but they make decent shirts. And I feel that their effort for Everton is an example of that. Now, don't get me wrong, the quality is terrible, but the actual look of the shirts can be pretty good. It's your classic royal blue Everton shirt with a pattern across the body, or across the shirt in general actually, that consists of horizontal wavy lines. These lines are inspired by the banks of the River Mersey upon which their new stadium sits. The V-neck collar seems to be inspired by the 86 to 89 home shirt and works really well here as well, with white being used on the manufacturer logo, in the badge, on the collar and on the awful sponsor too. The stake sponsor really isn't great, does detract from the shirt a little bit, but all in all I think it's a very nice design. I love it when a shirt represents the environment that the club is based in, and they've done it well here. So yeah, solid shirt all in all. Good job, lads. Just don't wash it or your badge might fall off. And then in 10th place, solidly mid-table, Sunderland. Our final newly promoted side is Sunderland and Hummel. And they had a very hard act to follow, as their promotion winning shirt was just phenomenal in my opinion. But I was pleasantly surprised when Hummel actually released the shirt, because this was the leak that was floating around, and it was dreadful. This design is inspired by their 86 to 88 home shirt, updated with a modern badge, and unfortunately a terrible sponsor. The crest is still centralised, but has been given a thick black outline, which I really don't like. I think it just overpowers the badge a little bit. Not sure why it's there. It could have gone with a thinner version at the very least. The white stripes feature a pattern inspired by the designs of the Kiel Crossing Bridge, which also appears on the back collar as well. As I've mentioned, I do not like the sponsor, but there's been a slight effort to colour match it, so you can get minimum props for that. It's a very decent kit, don't get me wrong, it does a lot right with the centralised logos and the little bridge design, but it just doesn't beat last season's. Still decent though, I'll give you that. And then in 9th place, I've got Chelsea. Now Chelsea have had a fair few interesting shirts recently, and I think this is another one of those. It's a largely blue shirt with a graphic design across the body that's inspired by London's architecture. The Chelsea shirt also features a white secondary colour on the collar, on the side panel and for the Nike logo as well. However, there's also a sneaky red third colour that appears on the side panel as well. There's also on the inside of the collar too, which is a change from the orange we've seen recently. Personally, I prefer the orange, but I guess red is a nice little different touch in there, if it needs to be there, I guess. It's not sponsored yet, so a sponsor could ruin it, but for now, it's a very clean shirt. Solid effort once again from Nike and Chelsea. They always seem to go a bit crazy with some of their shirts. I think this is one on the slightly crazier side, but it looks nice, it works well, so I'll allow it. And then in 8th place, I've got Fulham. Fulham have gone with an all-white home shirt this season, but there's more to this design than meets the eye, which is some of my favourite type of shirt designs, to be honest. The main design feature of this shirt is the sublimated emblem of the iconic Craven Cottage balcony ironwork, which has been woven into the body of the shirt. It can really be seen up close and looks quality. There's also this rubber detailing on the back of the neck, which also refers to the cottage, which is a very nice touch, and I think it looks really nice. Really reminiscent of some of the MLS shirts we've been seeing recently. I love it. The shirt also features black detailing on the cuffs, collar and the piping, with the sponsor being colour matched too, but it's still not a good sponsor. Spotop, what even is that? Overall though, the shirt is quite nice. The sponsor does let it down though, and thank God they'll be gone next season, along with many of these egregious betting sponsors. Probably going to replace with dodgy crypto ones, but that's neither here nor there. The Fulham shirt is decent, so let's move on. And in 7th place, it's another London side with Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace have released a very interesting take on their classic home shirts. It features the traditional blue and red stripes with added white pinstripes and a white sleeve stripe added to give it a new and unique look, shall we say. I'm not really a fan of that sleeve stripe though. I think it detracts from the overall design of the shirt, but other than that, it's pretty solid. The shirt has a V-neck collar with red, white and blue trim, which is also matched by the cuffs as well. You know I love it when a shirt does that. The sponsor isn't great, quite frankly, but it does somewhat work with the overall design of the shirt. It is a betting sponsor though, so that does lose them points, but the shirt is okay. It's a downgrade from last season, but it's alright. And in 6th place, I've got Aston Villa. It's a classic look for Villa, much like the home shirt from last season. It has some very nice differences that make it a much better shirt though. This shirt does something that I love. It pays homage to their home, Villa Park. More specifically, the Holt End. The sleeve cuffs feature a unique gold design created to reflect the facade of the Holt End, and it looks very nice. The gold is also seen on the piping too. Now, while I would prefer if gold was only reserved for teams that have won the league or won a trophy, it does work here on this Villa shirt in all fairness. I'm not really a huge fan of the white Adidas stripes on the sleeves. Not sure why they weren't, claret or another colour that appears on the shirt, but it doesn't really dock it too many points. The shirt is docked major points because of that sponsor though. Good lord. No effort is even made to colour match it. What's going on? Other than the awful sponsor, it's a quite nice shirt, I must say. And then in 5th place, I've got Arsenal. Football's most fashionable club is back with another nice kit from Adidas. It's a return to the classic red and white, which is very refreshing to see after whatever they tried to cook last season. I did like the blue elements, but the shirt just wasn't it. The main design aspect of the shirt is the repeating Gothic 8 graphic, which appears across the body of the shirt. I think it looks really nice. Big fan of that design motif. Good stuff. They've also gone with a monochrome badge to keep it just red and white, which I think works really well. Now, I don't really fuck with teams changing the badge that much on a home shirt, but I think in this regard, it's for the better, because the blue and the gold would have just distracted from the overall shirt design, so good choice from Arsenal and Adidas there. The red piping also works really well. I like it. What can I say, man? They've just made a nice shirt, which is par for the course these days. I think Arsenal are definitely Adidas's favourite club in the UK because they normally get some bangers. Could be a home, away, third, you name it, they've got a nice shirt. And then in 4th place, I've got Bournemouth. Bournemouth. You were so close. You were on the verge of greatness. This shirt looks wonderful when it's sponsorless. Unfortunately, they have this awful sponsor, BJ88. What the fuck? But go back to the shirt, it's the classic red and black stripes, as expected from Bournemouth, but within those red elements is where the shirt really gets elevated. It features a rippled sand pattern, which references the natural textures found along the Bournemouth coastline, and it looks class. A lighter shade of red flanks either side of the black stripes as well, which is a nice design touch, and I guess the gold outline on the badge matches the sponsor, if we're really clutching at straws. Now, Bournemouth do sell a sponsorless version of this shirt, and it looks amazing, but with the sponsor, which they wear during match days, it really drags down the shirt, unfortunately. This would have been challenging at the top, but it just drops down to 4th because of that terrible sponsor. But the shirt is nice enough for the sponsor not to drag it down even further, if that makes sense. Probably not, but it's my shirt ranking, so doesn't really have to make sense, does it? Alright, and in 3rd place, I've got Newcastle United. Newcastle and Adidas are cooking once again with this lovely effort for their home shirt. What do you think about the Newcastle shirt, eh? You a fan? The shirt features the club's traditional black and white stripes, but with a unique twist. The serrated edge forming a pattern known as the shepherd's check. Now, this is a nod to the Northumbrian tartan that influenced their first black and white home shirt back in 1894, and it looks quite nice, to be fair. The light blue accent colour on the piping and on the cuffs and around the collar and things like that just works really well with the black and white of the shirt. There's also a How Are the Lads tag on the back collar, which is a very nice touch as well. And you know what? The sponsor isn't that bad either. I don't know what they do, but I don't think it's a betting company, so that's okay. I should probably check that though. Yep, doesn't look to be a betting sponsor. Something to do with Jeddah. Shock. You know what, lads? Nice looking shirt. Fair play. And then in 2nd place, I've got Wolverhampton Wanderers. And you know what, Wolves? Fair play, man. Fair play. And I apologise, Sudo. I was not familiar with your game. Because this shirt is very, very nice. There is a subtle print throughout the golden elements of the shirt. Now this print is inspired by the Molineux Pleasure Grounds, which was a park that used to stand where the Molineux now sits. The look is completed by this lovely retro style collar and cuffs, with the cuffs themselves featuring some thin gold striping, which I really like. Would have liked to see it on the collar as well, but it's not a major turn off, so I'll allow it. Man, that pattern within the golden elements of the shirt is just lovely. Look at that, it's so nice. It reminds me of the Fulham shirt actually, just with a better base template to work off. Very nice. Now, you know, the sponsor, it's not great. I don't like it, but I feel like the overall design of the shirt minus that is very, very nice, which really drags it up the table. But yeah, they definitely deserve a better sponsor. And this template that Sudo have gone with here does conjure up images of the popular Puma template from this season. Not sure if that was intentional or not, but the resemblance is there. But all in all, very nice kit from Wolves. Very good effort from Sudo. It's in your second place. Now, in first place, and I'm sure it's not a surprise to anyone, we have Nottingham Forest. Look at it, man. This is just phenomenal. Oh, look at that. Oh my god, that is lovely. Wow. We made it, boys. I think we made it. Now, yes, naturally I am biased, but I genuinely think that this shirt stands head and shoulders above the rest. Now, this Forest shirt here is inspired by one of our most iconic shirts. It takes the 92-94 home shirt and brings it into the modern era, with a beautiful combination of white and dark red pinstripes. Wow, I love the alternating pinstripes. Something I was doing in my concept kit videos a while back. Adidas have done it here. I'm sure you're big fans, so thank you, lads. It also includes a button-up collar and a shield around the crest, which really enhances the retro feel to celebrate our 160th anniversary. Now, Adidas were also our manufacturers during our 150th anniversary. They gave us these shirts. 10 years on, we're getting this stuff. What an upgrade. Wow. And I know it divides opinion, especially within the Forest community. I'm a big fan of the shield. I think it looks really nice. It doesn't detract from the whole, you know, original crest of the club. You've got the tree still in there, I know, but it's lovely. The collar and the cuffs also match. Nice. And it was originally released sponsorless, which looked amazing, but I don't think the sponsor detracts at all from the shirt. If anything, it's enhanced it, I think. That is despite it being a betting sponsor. It still looks really nice though. I know, it's great, isn't it? What a nice kit. It's just a really nice shirt. I don't know what else I can say. Very smart, very classy, and one of the best we've released in a very long time. Adidas cooked. Just wow. This is the first shirt in a long time that I've bought at retail, because just look at it. Now, admittedly, I did wait for the old patches to be released, but it was a worthwhile wait, because this shirt is just beautiful, man. I could wax poetic about this. I love it so much. And yeah, that has been my 2025-26 Premier League home shirt ranking. Do you agree with where I've put these shirts? Do you think the Forest shirt is the best one in the league? The answer is yes, by the way. But wherever I put your teams, which shirt do you like? Which shirt do you hate? Let me know down in the comments. Anyway, I've been O2GT, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.